Madam Speaker, thank you. Through you to the members. I rise in support of Consolidated Amendment on Labor and Economic Development. I'm honored to serve as the new chair of the Labor and Workforce Development Committee at this pivotal time. I'm grateful to the Speaker, to all my colleagues for this opportunity. I want to particularly thank the gentleman from the North End for putting together a strong, fiscally responsible budget and under challenging circumstances. They say that wisdom is the reward for listening. By that standard, he must be a very wise man, because we know how much time he has spent listening to all the members, to us, to stakeholders, and to all of those who are impacted by the numbers, dollars, and line items in this budget. And I'd be remiss not to thank his hardworking staff, hardworking staff in the Ways and Means office and is also in the Speaker's office for all the great work that you've done this week and throughout. I'm here to talk about some of the highlights of the labor and workforce development area. Before I do, I want to thank thank our own staff from the Labor and Workforce Development Committee. It's been a busy year for our committee already, and we haven't even really formally begun our budget hearings. I feel very fortunate to have such a talented team in place. I also want to recognize the gentle lady from Andover, our distinguished vice chair, for all of her contributions. So this is a challenging time for workers across the country, and our state has certainly been hit by the pandemic. Our unemployment rate has come down, but it remains high, and we know that some of these job losses may be long-term. Our workforce needs to adapt and adjust to keep up. Without major investments in our workforce development, we're at risk of allowing this pandemic recession to have a long-term impact on our labor force. That's the bad news. The good news is that the budget before us today meets this moment and makes the necessary investments we need to put the Commonwealth on a strong path forward, to help make sure our workforce has the skills, tools, and training to succeed in our post-pandemic economy, and to make sure we don't leave anyone else behind in our recovery. I want to just first mention two initiatives, workforce development initiatives, that aren't part of the Consolidated, but are part of the House budget and are near and dear to my heart. The first is the Disability Hiring Tax Credit. This is a new initiative. Again, I want to thank the gentleman from the North End for his work here, for including this in the budget. This is a one-time refundable tax credit of up to $5,000 for hiring a person with a disability, and an annual refundable tax credit up to $2,000 for employing a person with a disability. This includes small businesses, partnerships, LLCs, S-corps, and all different kinds of businesses. This new tax incentive will create incentives for new hiring and help ensure that individuals with disabilities are not left behind in our recovery. The other new initiative I wanted to just mention briefly, the gentleman from Franklin, the distinguished chair of the Energy Committee, already did an excellent job. But I want to mention this as well because I'm so excited about it and because I think it has a lot of promise as a workforce development initiative, and that is the Speaker's Offshore Wind Initiative. We are on the cusp of a major offshore wind boom in the nation, and Massachusetts is poised to lead the way again. We know that the South Coast will be a regional hub, but the benefits will flow across the Commonwealth, in New Bedford as well. Think of all the ancillary businesses and new jobs that will develop as a result. But if we want to fuel this new industry, we need a workforce to match. We need a wind energy workforce pipeline. We need to train our workers for the new jobs in this burgeoning field. We've seen how the state's effort to nurture life sciences have paid off. A similar investment is needed here. Fortunately, we have a Speaker and a Ways and Means Chair who have embraced this vision and taken bold action. The House budget before us includes a new offshore wind energy career training fund. This trust fund will be seeded with $10 million. The fund will provide grants for technical training programs and professional certificate programs tailored to careers in offshore wind industry. The fund will also provide grants to adults and community learner programs, labor groups, higher education, public higher ed, and VOTEC schools to provide paid internships and career training in the offshore wind industry. The focus will be on skilled trades, water transportation, operations, maintenance, and other occupations identified as a high priority for this industry. In terms of the Consolidated Amendment, I want to highlight a few areas for you. First off, YouthWorks. YouthWorks provides summer job opportunities for at-risk youth in over 31 cities across the Commonwealth. The House budget makes unprecedented investments of $24 million, a $4 million increase over the current fiscal year in this line item. Through mentorship and job readiness curriculum, YouthWorks teaches young people many of the essential skills they need to succeed in adulthood. It then gives youth an opportunity to apply those skills by placing them in jobs in the community. Despite the pandemic, YouthWorks was able to fund more than 5,000 paid opportunities for young people last year. 70% of the jobs this summer are expected to be in person, while the remaining 30% will be virtual. I want to highlight the Mass Hire Career Center line item as well. Since March of last year, about 60,000 workers in Massachusetts have turned to the Mass Hire system for career counseling, job search support, and referrals to vocational training. Federal funding has declined, which has required the state to increase its investment in order to ensure that career centers can continue to support the needs of the unemployed and underemployed. The Mass Hire Career Center will play a central role in our economic recovery, which is why this investment is so critical. As hiring picks up and the economy recovers, career centers will ideally serve as a conduit between job seekers and businesses looking to fill positions. The House budget provides $5 million, a $1 million increase over the governor's House 1 budget for this important line item. The Workforce Development Trust Fund, the Workforce Competitiveness Trust Fund. This includes a $10 million transfer to this trust fund, which is $3 million increased over House 1. This will fund occupational training opportunities for workers with limited or no connection to the labor force, focusing on high-demand industries. Employers with job openings partner with vocational training providers, such as community colleges or vocational technical schools, to help people attain necessary credentials for employment. These include training in jobs for IT, advanced manufacturing, nursing, and commercial trucking fields. A number of industries are making permanent adjustments in response to the pandemic, which could result in staffing reductions in certain industries. Funding for retraining is crucial in getting people back into the workforce. I want to mention the Career Technical Institute. We're providing $4 million to support the growth of the Career Technical Institute initiative. These funds will expand the number of people being trained at vocational technical schools by opening 2 additional shifts of learning. These will provide opportunities for students at comprehensive high schools to enroll in vocational programs that will occur at the end of the school day. A second additional shift of classes will be especially for adult learners seeking skills and certification in a number of industries with high levels of employer demand. This expansion will help create the skilled labor that employers are looking for while providing opportunities for workers to find careers in well-paying industries. These are just a few of the highlights in the labor and workforce development area. The House budget also makes important investments in other areas, including prisoner reentry workforce development, the Massachusetts Manufacturing Extension Partnership, and additional programs with our labor partners for skills enhancement and tuition vouchers. If there's a common thread in these House budget line items, it's that we are investing in our people. We all know that what powers Massachusetts is our skilled workforce. Let's face it, we don't have the best weather always here, year-round sunshine, an abundance of gold or silver or vast natural oil reserves. Our greatest resource as a Commonwealth is our people. It's our skilled workforce. The House budget continues these investments in our workforce and builds on them in significant ways. These investments will ensure that we give our workforce the skills needed to succeed and thrive in our post-pandemic economy. I'm grateful for all the work that has gone into this budget by the chair and his team and all of your collective efforts to support our workforce. I respectfully urge a favorable report. Thank you.